Good morning, divers, and those that want to be divers. I'm excited to share another episode of Billy Dives with you this morning. A couple of things. We've gotten some new equipment we're going to be testing out, and I'm excited about that. But for me personally, I went out and completed my advanced open water certification. So I just completed that about 2 weeks ago, and I am very excited about having that opportunity. We did the dive over a couple of days, the dives over a couple of days, and we did them in two different places. So the primary dive, the dive where we did most of my adventure dives and my navigation, was at a place called Aquarena Springs in San Marcos, Texas. Beautiful water there. You have to pay a little bit to use their training ground, but the instructor that I had, Tim was his name, he was great. And we went out there, we did the navigation, underwater navigation piece. Then we did a performance buoyancy or peak performance buoyancy, which we had a great time. I learned some things about buoyancy that I didn't know, and also we adjusted my buoyancy so that it was better suited for fresh water, and so that was a great time. We did search and recovery. We did activity where we actually were moving a weight belt that had quite a bit of weight on it, 15 pounds actually. We were moving it from one dive platform to the other and maintaining buoyancy while we did that. There was buoyancy rings that we could swim through. So overall, it was a great time. The water was beautiful. We actually swam down to where the springs are coming up out of the ground, which was really cool. There's some very rare plants and species that are in that water, and to actually dive out in the lake where the glass bottom boats go, you actually have to take an environmental safety course there so that you understand what's there and what's protected, and then you can actually volunteer to go out and pull some of the weeds. They have a grass, a rice grass, that only grows in that river in that location, and so they try to keep the other grasses from growing up and choking that grass out. So it's kind of a cool location, and we did quite a bit of dives. I guess we were in the water three or more hours that day, and then the next day we went out to a place here in Central Texas called Canyon Lake. We needed to go out there because I needed to do my deep dive there, and so we went out there and had a great time. The water was much cooler, but we had a great time. They have a platform set up at about 20 feet, 19 or 20 feet. So we dove down there and adjusted our buoyancy. And then we followed the track out to the deeper water. I guess we were down about 75 feet. The thermal climb was at about 49 or 50 feet, and the water changed about 12 degrees when we went through the thermal climb. So quite a bit different when we went through that thermal climb. And the water got down to the low 60s or high 50s, 61, 59, something like that. So the water was cool, but the dive went really well. No problems with the dive at all. And I passed all of the written work. And so a great time doing the advanced open water. So we had a really good time with that. But I've got some new equipment. One of the things I've got that I want to talk to you about is a new camera enclosure. So you guys know I like using my phone to take pictures, and I've reviewed a camera enclosure that I used before, and I was very excited about that. But before I got that camera enclosure, and it's a great enclosure, very simple, very straightforward. But before I got that camera enclosure, I was part of a quick start or a kickstart on the web for a company called HotDives, and they were building a brand new camera enclosure, and they were trying to raise money for the manufacturing process. You may not know how Kickstarters work, but anyway, I invested some money in that. I actually paid a good bit of money for this Kickstarter because I wanted to try out one of these cameras. So they were supposed to ship in January. We didn't get those in January, and there was some manufacturing delays. And after a while, you think, well, maybe I just wasted my money, and I'm never going to see anything from this. But ultimately, back in early April or late April, the camera came in. The hot dive came in, and so I want to share that with you. I think it's a pretty. I've just taken it out of the package, and I've just started looking at it and put my phone on it and synced it up. But so here is the device. So So it comes in this really nice case, as you can see. It's not high impact, but it's a good case. When you open it up, it has the device inside. So as you can see, here is the device, and it's larger than the case I was using before. If you take this out, you can see that really heavy construction, and it's got LEDs already built in. It's got this big screen over here, over here, that allows you to use it with a bunch of different kinds of phones, and it's vacuum sealed. And so it came with the O-ring that you have to put in. It came with a little container of lubricant for the O-ring. It came with a strap for the camera, so you can put it on your wrist, and a cleaning cloth, not that big a deal, and a USB cable. And I wasn't really sure what the USB cable was for until I opened it up. So it's got a lock right here. You can see the lock. So you have to pull up on the lock just a little, and then you have to turn it. And when you turn it, it opens up the enclosure. And as you can see, it's got a little thing right here. This will allow you to download the app that they have. This kind of holds your camera in place. And they've got some things up here on the screen that also hold your camera in place. So what I did was I scanned the little app on my phone, as you would need to do. And then what I did, then you go to the app, and it has a little power switch inside. So you can see right here, if you look really close, let me turn it over. If you look really close, there's a little power switch in here, and it actually has a battery inside that runs the LED and some of the other functions. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start this thing up. I'm going to put my phone in it, and I'm going to power it on. Let's see here. So it's got a little app. It looks like this when you first power it on, and it has down here to dive. And so you turn on the little device, and then you hit the to dive button, and it shows that your device, I know it's hard to see, but you can see right there without the reflection, it shows the device. You click on that button, and it says it's connecting, and then it connects to the device, and your camera comes on. And it also shows you, well, you can see me in this, but it also shows you some things on the sidebar over here that you can do once it's in the case. So I'm going to put the camera in the case, and you just kind of get it straight in the case, and you close the lid, and you just screw that little handle on the side. So you just give it a little twist like that, and it locks in place. And then it's got this red light on it. So you can see the red light down here, over here. It's got all the buttons, and you can see the red light. Now, the nice thing about this is you push this button down here on the bottom and hold it for 3 seconds. So you hear that noise. That is the vacuum pump that's built into the camera. So it is evacuating all the air from the camera, and when it finishes, and it may not finish because I have the O-ring out of it, so it's probably not going to finish, but when it finishes, it would actually, and I turn the LED on here and it's bright. When it finishes, it will actually turn a green light on, and when that green light comes on, I'll turn this noise off here. When it turns that green light on, then it tells you that it has evacuated all the air from the camera, and you're ready to dive. So I'm putting the O-ring back in here. It's really easy to put back on. I don't have any grease on it right now. I'll put that on later, and I'm going to take this and I'm going to seal it back like I showed you before. It's just a quick turn, and it locks. And then I'm going to, and you can, I left it off. So like I said, guys, this is kind of new to me too, so I'm doing this kind of with you guys for the first time. So I'm going to lock it back on. You can see it's on. I got a red LED over here that says that there's no vacuum on it yet. I'll push the button, wait for it. I think I turned on my LED. So push the button, hold it in. Okay, the vacuum pump came on. You can hear that. I'm going to set it down right here, and we're going to let it run for a minute as it evacuates the air out of the camera. So it's going to evacuate all the air, and if you don't get a green light, then you know you can't dive with it. It's not sealed, and it could leak. But by putting a vacuum on it, for a couple of things it does. It takes all the air out, so there's less issue with buoyancy. So you're not going to be, it's more neutral buoyant, which is what you want with any of your equipment. Also, it it has the battery rate, so it shows you what the battery, how much battery is left in the camera, not so much how much battery is left in your phone. You can see that too, but you can see the battery left on your actual device. So like I said, it has its own battery, and you can see that information on there. So it's still vacuuming out, and you can see it's got a really good big screen. So the screen is the whole screen, and there's a few things about this that it does that my other one doesn't do that I really like. So one of the things is these buttons here. They have a button here and a button here that does the zoom in and zoom out. And so what it does is it allows you to zoom into things by pushing the button. It zooms in. You can see it's zooming in, way in, and the bottom button zooms out. So you can zoom in and out. You see the vacuum pump stop. So you can see that the camera is now green. I have a green light. I'm ready to go. It has the mode button that changes it from video, picture to video, and then it changes it back to it turns the camera around so you can do selfies, and it does video turned around so you can do all of that. And it has manual focus and autofocus buttons. Some phones allow for that, some don't. And then one of the great things about this camera is this big handle right here. So it's more like a regular camera. You don't have to be looking at it if you don't want to, and you push this button and it takes a picture. So you push the button and you got a picture. It captured that picture. Another thing that it does that I think is kind of unique is, like I said, the LED. So I'm not going to shine it right at the screen, but you push that button once, you can see that's so bright, and you push it again, it's even brighter. So very bright, very bright. So underwater, you can use that as a strobe to take pictures with. That strobe is not draining the battery on your phone, it's draining the battery on the case. So as your battery gets lower and lower on the case, you will see that, the vacuum pump and stuff like that. Now, the vacuum pump itself uses quite a bit of battery power. I will tell you right up front, it uses quite a bit to evacuate it the first time. But then you don't have to do it again until you take your camera out of the case. And you get to the surface, all of your pictures are right there on your camera. You can see, I'll turn this around, great quality picture. We'll look around the room. You'll get to kind of see my office. So you can see great quality picture. Great picture. Of course, it got light. Any of the buttons will make it come back. And if you're taking video or what have you, I want to take it out this weekend. I want to shoot some video with it and shoot some pictures with it. I hope that they look really good. If they look really good, I'll let you guys know. Maybe I'll post some video or pictures of the dive from this weekend if I get a chance. Thank you for joining me. Subscribe if you like the content. I know we haven't posted a lot of content. We've been working on our training, and so we haven't posted a ton of content. But if you like it, subscribe to it. I'm not gonna do a bunch of stuff and bother you. I'm not gonna do anything like that. I'm just gonna post videos of the things that I see when I'm diving and the things that I think is cool. Planning a trip coming up to Cozumel. I hope that I have lots of video and pictures from the trip to Cozumel and how much we liked the place we stayed, the resort we stayed in. I will be talking about all of that and be doing reviews on all of that for our trip to Cozumel coming up the end of June. And so I'm excited about that. Stay tuned. More videos coming up. Subscribe, like the video. Let me know what you think. If you have any comments or if you have any questions about this equipment, please put them in the comment field. I will try to answer them as soon as possible. Thank you, guys.